Over the course of the last few videos, you might have noticed, or maybe not, I've been riding with Pogies this winter, and they have, quite frankly, been nothing short of life-changing. So this video is going to be part gear review, part Pogie chat, part me waxing lyrical about how happy my fingers are these days. I've always known that Pogies were a thing, but to be honest, in my head they were sort of other to the riding that I do. You know, when you see them being used, it's always by people bundled up in extreme weather gear, wrestling a fat bike through a blizzard in Siberia or Alaska or something. And that just isn't the type of riding that I do. It's not even the type of riding that I aspire to do. I'm in the south of England, and when I'm not in the south of England, it's usually summer. So I kind of had Pogies as overkill for what I'm doing. And for years, I donned my gloves, I rode my bike, I got cold fingers occasionally, and I just thought, that's life. That's how it is. In the end, it was a completely different requirement that pushed me over the edge. And that is that when I'm out pedaling, I'm quite often out filming these videos. And that means I've got my phone in my pocket, I'm cruising along, I see something worth a shot, whip the phone out, film a few seconds, back in the pocket, and carry on. I don't even have to stop. And that works really well in the summer. But with gloves, it becomes a real pain in the arse. And so either the quality of the videos drops because I'm just not filming as much, or my enjoyment of the ride drops because I'm constantly stopping to de-glove, film, do the shot, re-glove, carry on. And after that cold day ride with Alan to Dungeness a few months back, I just thought, I'm going to bite the bullet. The Pogies tick 2 boxes for me, so I did it. I got mine from 7 Roads, based in Ukraine. They do Pogies, they do all kinds of bags and accessories, they do custom build stuff if you have special requirements, and they were just very, very pleasant to deal with, really friendly, really communicative, really happy to go back and forth answering all my questions and stuff. I definitely recommend them if you're in the market for such things. I'll stick a link to their website down below as usual. But what I ended up with was these. There's a couple of different options of fabric that you can choose. I went for X-Pack, and I'll be entirely honest, I can't remember why. It was an informed decision at the time, but in the months since, the data that informed that decision have been lost, misplaced, I'm afraid. So all I can tell you is they're made of X-Pack. I also can't remember how much they weigh, though I will add those numbers to the screen now via the magic of cinema. And so to the details. You got padding all the way around inside, good couple of centimeters of insulation. You've also got a zip pocket inside each one. It's a nice wide opening. It's not particularly deep, but there's plenty of volume in there to keep a few credit cards, a bit of cash, keys, you know, those kind of things. It's handy. Down the front, you got this nice chunky weatherproof, rainproof zip with a double fastening, and inside there you can see you've got a little padded baffle, just so you don't lose any unnecessary heat out of the zip. This runs pretty much the full length of that leading face, which means that getting these things on and off the bike is dead simple. All you have to do is open the zip up to its full amount, thread it over your bar gubbins and zip it up again. Obviously I'm running these on my Moloko bars, but they do work on drop bars and stuff as well. If it's particularly cold, or if you find you've got a bit of a draft coming in because of how your cables are routed or whatever, there's also these little bungees at each end which you can cinch down to just keep everything really, really snug around that connection. Coming around the other end, you got your main hand entry orifice. Ooh. And you can see how nice and padded and cozy and warm it looks. You can see the length of the thing here. You know, it comes halfway up your forearm. It's a really good long cuff, really good coverage, much more than you're ever going to get from a glove, I think. You can also see the other thing which is important to me making the films is that these hold their shape really, really well, which means that you can very easily slip a hand out, take a shot, wave at a fellow cyclist, slip the hand back in and carry on going without any faff, without having to stop pedaling, without having to worry, which for me is incredibly useful. We also start to see some of the adjustability on these based on the conditions you're riding in. If, like me, you're not battling through a Siberian winter, you're going to find yourself actually too warm in these quite often. And so there's a few things you can do to get a bit of air flowing in. Obviously there's the zip and the bungee down the front, both of which can be adjusted to your desired degree. But then there's also, up the front, this bungee cord here and this Velcro flap here, which if you open it completely, opens up the whole cuff and really lets the air flow around you. If it really does get too warm, if you get caught out by an unexpected spring, then you can also fold these cuffs back on themselves, open that zip up the front right up, and you've basically just got a wind guard for your knuckles then. So, I mean, I don't know if these have got an actual temperature rated range. I haven't extensively tested them. I mean, I've been out on rides where it was maybe -2, -3, you know, frost and ice and all that kind of stuff. I've done night rides, I've done rides in the rain, and I've done rides like today where it's maybe 6 or 7 degrees. And I've been very, very happy with these in all scenarios. Yeah, spring is coming now, so they're probably not going to see much more use. I'm going to miss them, I really am. So I've got two small closing thoughts. The first is, as many of you probably know, I run a Rohloff hub, which means that up the front I've got a Rohloff twist shifter, and the cable routing for that is straight out the front. So obviously when you have to get that into a Pogie, the curvature on those cables becomes a lot tighter than it would normally be. And it might all be in my head, or it might be the fact that my cables are really old and need changing, but I've just found that maybe there's a little bit more friction, a little bit more resistance in the shifting than I remembered previously. I haven't had any problems, like I haven't had any skipping gears or, you know, landing between gears or anything. It's been fine. But I do just think maybe there's some kind of Rohloff specific customization you could make to these. Maybe have the zip pulls so they close towards each other instead of apart. So you could just have a small aperture in the zip that you could move up and down to let your cables route out of. Or perhaps instead of having a zip, you could have a Velcro closure or multiple kind of Velcro fingers, so you could open the relevant one to let your cables come out. I mean, I know stuff like that is always going to impact the insulation qualities, so I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud really. It's not a problem. Basically, if you're wondering if you can get Pogies around your Rohloff twist shifter, yes you can. It totally works, it's totally fine. The second thing that's just crossed my mind is durability in specific situations. So the build on these is really good. Like, materials are really good, the stitching's really good, they're really solid. I don't worry about that. But the riding that I do, I mean, you can see where I am today, I'm just in the woods. I do a lot of in close between bushes and brambles, and I'm quite often getting scragged by thorns and twigs and things. I mean, I've lost many a jacket and shirt to a blackberry briar going across my shoulder, and I worry about the corners, and I wonder if over time they're going to get more abuse than the rest of the thing and develop wears and holes and things. And I've been toying with the idea of maybe reinforcing them just with a bit of Gorilla Tape on the corners. I don't know the qualities of X-Pack enough. I think this time round I'm just going to leave them, see how they fare, as with the bike, I'll probably come back in a year's time, maybe the end of next winter, and I'll do a kind of a catch up on these and see how I'm getting on with them. But as I said at the top of this, for now, Pogies have changed my life. I mean, they're brilliant. I wish I'd done this years ago. I don't know what I was thinking. It doesn't matter if you're not in Siberia. It doesn't matter if you're not in the north of Finland in December. You don't want cold fingers. Cold fingers ruin rides, and cold fingers happen in a windy 2 degrees day in Oxfordshire, just the same as they do in Alaska. So, for the price of 2.5 pairs of gloves, you can get a set of Pogies, and they're amazing. They're so comfy, they're so warm, they're so cozy, they hold the heat. You take your hand out, you put it back in, it's like getting back into a warm bed. I know, I can't recommend them enough, I really can't. If you suffer from cold fingers, look into Pogies, man. And if you're looking into Pogies, check out Seven Roads, because they were really good and they do make quality stuff. That's it done. Pogies, thumbs up, love them. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my monthly Ko-fi subscribers. You are truly fantastic. Thank you to everyone who's chipped in one-off as well. You two are absolutely amazing. That's it for this time. Hopefully next one's going to be maybe a ride with Alan again. Don't know. We shall see. See you all on the next one, folks. Bye now.